Hello, welcome back to another edition of my 6-month movie update. So this is not the first time I've done one of these. I can't remember how many years I've been doing these, but essentially I make 6-month movie updates, obviously twice a year, every 6 months, because I watch so many movies in a year that if I tried to put them all into one video, it would be 1, super long, and 2, I would feel like I'd be rushing talking about some of them, and I love talking about movies, so I want to give them each their own little spotlight. I watch well over 200 movies a year, and right now I'm at 120, so I think I'm a little bit more behind than usual, but I'm still at 120 movies this year. I'm going to hit actually 1,000 films in my diary on Letterboxd this year, which I'm really excited. I'm at 956 right now, and I have 641 logged on Letterboxd, which means that just about over 300 of the movies that I've seen are rewatches, which is very on par with me because I have very strict seasonal movie watch lists. I have movies that I watch every summer, movies that I watch every fall, and movies that I watch every winter, and I stick to those. So no wonder over 300 of them are rewatches. And I also have a lot of comfort movies, and I have a roommate who also has a lot of comfort movies, so we are chronic rewatchers, and I'm proud because that's what movies are for. Okay, I'm gonna move you down. Okay, I'm moving it down a little bit. I didn't feel like going to get a chair, so we're sitting on the floor. But hello, it is 6-month movie update, which means I am going to be talking about all of the movies that I watched from January 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2025. Yeah, July really snuck up on me this year, and I can't believe that we're already halfway through 2025. Like, I know everyone always says that, but like legitimately, when did 2025 begin? Because I am still there. I'm still there. Actually, I take it back. I said that I was slightly behind. I am not, because if I stay at this pace, I will hit 240 this year, and last year I watched 231, so I will beat my numbers last year, which is very exciting if I stay at this pace, so slay. Here we go. We're opening up Letterboxd. Letterboxd, sponsor me. I've had it for, what, 5 years now? I'm about to hit 1,000 in my diary. That is pretty cool. Here we go. We are sliding down to January 1. Which I already know what it is because I watch the exact same movie on January 1st every single year, and that is About Time. About Time is in my top 5 favorite movies. It's not my 4 favorites, it's my 5th. This movie I only watch once a year. If you've seen these videos before, you know I've talked about this movie. I only watch it once a year. I will not watch it any other time of the year than January 1st because it is the perfect way to start the new year, and it takes that like specialness away if I watch it any other day other than the new year. It is a laugh movie, a cry movie, a happy cry, a sad cry. It's British, like Rachel McAdams. It is beautiful. It has a beautiful message, and it really puts you in the mindset to like go through your day just being really grateful all the time. And sometimes when I catch myself being ungrateful, I think about this movie and it really just like helps me snap out of it. So if you have not seen About Time, I'm always gonna highly recommend it. And that one was on my winter watch list, and then it's also labeled as my 2025 cried. This movie legitimately makes me sob every time. I can't help it. Next, we have 2 winter movies that I try to watch around the winter time, and the first one is High School Musical and the second one is Cloud 9. Some of these I will just kind of breeze through because we don't really legitimately have time to go through 120, and then some of them I'll just talk about. Next is Step Up, which in my review I said I'm embarrassed to say as a dancer that this is my first time watching this. I was baffled that I've never actually seen Step Up all the way through. Like, I've seen parts of Step Up, just never the whole film. And I cannot believe that I danced all my life and I'm just now watching it, but I watched that on January 3rd. Then my first movie in theaters of 2025, which was my second time actually seeing this movie in theaters, but it's of course A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic with Timothée Chalamet. Sorry if you heard the blender in the back, but I'm still gonna talk. Now that I have adult money, I'm also a Cinemark Movie Club member, which I did the math last year, at the end of last year, to see if it would legitimately save me any money, and it does save me money because I go so much, so I'm a proud Cinemark Movie Club member. Next, I saw The Holdovers, which is a really good winter movie, and that was a rewatch. I watched Enchanted, which is not marked as a rewatch on Letterboxd because I had never logged on Letterboxd before, but obviously I watched Enchanted a lot growing up. I watched this one with my roommates. A first time watch for me was Paris When It Sizzles. I have an Audrey Hepburn movie collection on DVD, and so I've been trying to kind of work my way through those because I really love Audrey movies, but I haven't seen all of them, and I absolutely loved Paris When It Sizzles. I said this is the most Audrey Hepburn movie ever made. Then I watched A Real Pain, which was incredible. I said an utterly realistic and beautifully simple but also complex film that tugs at every heartstring. Chopin being the only music throughout the film because they took piano lessons together, sobbing. If you have not seen A Real Pain, highly recommend. Then I saw One of Them Days in theaters, which was so much fun. Such a great duo. Like, get Keke Palmer in more movies. And I said also slay Cinemark National Popcorn Day. Next, I did Twilight Saga New Moon, so I am doing a sort of like movie club with my friends where we are watching movie series together, so this was part of that. Then I did a rewatch of The Duff because I love that movie and so does my mom. I also think this was also when I was getting my wisdom teeth out, so a lot of these are my wisdom teeth is out, I need something that's comforting. So The Duff, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. We were really watching them. Me and my mom were sitting on my couch for hours while I was suffering with my wisdom teeth. Then I watched Plus One, which is a rom-com that I've seen before but had not seen in a while. Then I watched Not Okay for the first time, which I think I had started before and never finished because I do remember like the first couple minutes of it, but Not Okay was good. I watched Saturday Night, which was very fun. It's a boy-girl thing, which I really don't remember watching. Some of these movies that I watch with my roommates, I really have no memory of, but this is an OC and Gossip Girl crossover, so I'm sure it's late. It has Damien Delgard in it. I watched Surprised by Oxford, which was also another roommate watch. The Twilight Saga Eclipse, which I reviewed with This Is Cinema because it is peak cinema. And then I finished out January with You're Cordially Invited because I freaking love a rom-com. And my review for it is I was so incredibly locked in because I was. Okay, we are starting February, so I'm going to link it up here, but for February I had a goal to do a romance movie a day. It was like a second job. I succeeded. I watched 28 movies in the month of February that were romance related. I had very strict guidelines when it came to a romance movie. I started off February with, of course, probably one of the best like modern day 2000s rom-com vibe, and that is Anyone But You. On February 2nd, I watched Groundhog Day. And then I did Bridget Jones' Diary, Bridget Jones' The Edge of Reason, Companion in theaters, which was also so good. So many good movies have come out in theaters this year. I said I could go on and on and on and on. So all I'll say is Sophie Thatcher, Oscar incoming. Then I watched Bridget Jones' Baby, The Broken Hearts Gallery, Your Monster, which is such a hidden gem and it is so good. On the 8th, I watched 13 Going on 30 and The Wedding Planner, so I guess 2 romance movies for me. The 9th, I did Set It Up and The Greatest Showman, because why not? The 10th, To All the Boys I Loved Before, which is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I always try to watch all 3 of them, like around the weekend of Valentine's Day. On the 11th, I watched Twilight. I'm like really confused by my order of these Twilight movies. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but watched Twilight on February 11th. And then I also watched To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. And then on the 12th, I watched the third To All the Boys, Always and Forever. Then on February 12th, I saw Breaking Dawn Part 2 in theaters. It was an incredible experience. I was too young to have seen that when it came out originally, and I also saw it with a group of friends, and one of the friends had not ever seen the fight scene before, and just to watch the utter shock was great. It was great. And then of course I watched Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy on February 13th because duh. I also watched My Fault London. I went through a little phase there. On Valentine's Day, I of course watched the movie Valentine's Day, and then we did When in Rome, An Affair to Remember, which I have never seen, and I said, "You've been crying, Beauty does that to me. I hate that I was so rooting for them." My Best Friend's Wedding, which is in my top 20 favorite films of all time. Hitch, which is a classic that I grew up on, like truly a staple in my family, and I just have not seen it in years, so it was great to revisit Hitch. I watched Kate and Leopold, which I had never seen. Sense and Sensibility, which I had also never seen. I watched this one with my roommates and we were baffled. It was so incredible. Love, Rosie in my favorite 4. And then I watched Just Married, but I really adore Brittany Murphy, so I watched Just Married. Begin Again for the first time. One of my comfort movies, Life as We Know It. Also 10 Things I Hate About You is one of my comfort movies. On the 26th, I watched Sideways, which is a romance movie, but it's kind of a bit more like serious indie feeling one, and really enjoyed it. 27th, Crazy Choice with A Walk to Remember, but I hadn't done any Nicholas Sparks yet, so that's what me and my roommates picked. And then the 28th, I finished it off with Pride and Prejudice. Now we're in March, which was such a sigh of relief. I took a whole one-day break of movie watching. And I watched Titanic with the group of friends, the little movie club group of friends. Titanic is my favorite movie, if you did not know. I then watched Picture This with the like 2025 version, because I'm pretty sure there's one with Ashley Tisdale, but not that one. Yeah. My roommate and I watched Somewhere in Time because it was recommended on TikTok. I saw Mickey 17 in theaters, which I actually have a video about, because oddly enough, for how much I enjoy watching movies and going to the theater, I've never been to the theater alone, so I went to see Mickey 17 by myself, and yeah, it was great. I watched Sabrina for the first time, which is an Audrey movie that I'm pretty familiar with, but I had just never actually sat down and watched it all the way through. On March 16th, they were doing March Katniss, which is in the Mickey 17 YouTube video I did as well. But they were doing March Katniss, where they were showing all 4 in theaters, so I watched Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2 in theaters back to back. On March 17th, I of course watched Luck of the Irish, because it's St. Patrick's Day, guys. Then we have 2 Weeks Notice, which I had never seen. I did a rewatch of Hannah Montana the movie, watched Dandelion for the first time, Stay the Night, Whatever It Takes, which I don't remember. Let me look at the poster. Oh, okay, yes, this has James Franco and, oh my gosh, what is his name? Shane West. Then I watched Shrek 2, because duh. I did a rewatch of The Princess Bride, which I probably, this one I grew up on too, but I don't think I've probably seen it since like maybe late middle school, so it was nice to revisit that one. I watched The Life List when it came out on Netflix. I did a rewatch of the Brady Bunch movie and a rewatch of Mary Poppins, which similarly to The Princess Bride I grew up on and just have not seen in recent years. Now we are to April. So April 1st I saw Death of a Unicorn in theaters. I said this was so fun. Team Jenna Ortega, Team Paul Rudd, Team Unicorn. I just love movies that know that they are just like fun and extreme. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I did rewatches of He's Just Not That Into You, A Very Pretty Sequel, and The Proposal. I did a rewatch of High School Musical 3 senior year. I don't know why I was feeling that movie, but it's in my top 10 faves, so gotta give her a watch. I did a rewatch of Back to the Future, Cars, which I have not seen in a while, Another Cinderella Story, National Treasure, and National Treasure Book of Secrets. One of my new like modern comfort movies is Love at First Sight. I have seen that movie an insane amount of times, and I did watch it on a plane, obviously. It's like such a go-to plane movie, but yeah, I have a tag on my letterbox called Airplane Watches, and you'll find this movie in there quite a bit. Also on the plane I watched Meet the Parents, and then I watched Jerry Maguire for the first time. I cannot believe I've never seen Jerry Maguire, but I did indulge myself in that. On April 24th, I watched Cinema Paradiso. I don't even think I have the words. My review is simply, oh, the movie is the most magical place on earth. If you love movies and you have not seen Cinema Paradiso, I highly recommend. And then I saw Sinners in the theaters. I said incredible. The post-credit scene, which I didn't know there were 2 post-credit scenes. I only stayed for the one. And then I realized there were 2 and I missed a whole other one, but I was referring to the first post-credit scene. The sound design, the dance number, just perfection. Ryan Coogler is a genius. Michael B. Jordan, let's get you that Oscar. I did a rewatch of Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, which, like the others I was referring to later, grew up on it, watched it probably a dozen times, and just have not seen it recently, so it was great to revisit. And then with my movie club friends, we also watched Back to the Future Part 2 because we were on a Back to the Future marathon that we actually just recently finished. Okay, we are now to May 2025, so I started off my May with The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. My review is simply, oh, to watch this for the first time again. Then I did a rewatch of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I have not seen since freshman year of college. I watched The Red Shoes for the first time, and I said, a beautiful and tragic display of art and passion. Film never ceases to amaze me. This might possibly be one of the most visually stunning films ever made. I'm rewatching Dance Academy right now, so I needed to watch this. And that's another one that I cannot believe I've never seen before as a dancer, but it is an incredible movie. And it's also, I have a tag called Gerwig's List, so it's just a, I can't remember what the article is, but there's an article where Greta Gerwig like lists out a lot of movies that inspired Barbie, and this was on that list. And then did a rewatch of A Simple Favor, a rewatch of Atonement. I watched Summer of '69, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which I hadn't seen in a while. My friends and I watched Another Simple Favor. Saw The Wiz with my roommate in theaters, which I have not seen all the way through before. I have seen bits and pieces of it throughout my childhood, but just never the whole movie, so it was great to see that in theaters. I said the production design is incredible. I could watch the first clip of Diana and Michael singing Ease on Down the Road a million times, because it's iconic. Did a rewatch of Ratatouille. I watched Worth the Wait for the first time, which I also do not remember, so let me look at the... Oh yes, this is the one with Lana Condor. And then I got invited by one of my friends to go see the new Final Destination movies, and I really do love horror movies, but I have just never watched the Final Destination franchise, so I watched the first one because she told me that I wouldn't need a lot of background, so I just watched the first one before going to see the new one in theaters, which I loved. I thought Bloodlines was really, really good. I watched Manchester by the Sea because I was in a sad movie mood, and I looked up saddest movies of all time and scrolled down to one that I hadn't seen, so Manchester by the Sea it was, and oh my god, was it sad. It was indeed. And I finished off my May with a rewatch of Madagascar because of... Okay, we are now to June, so the final month in this update, and I started off with Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding. And you're going to start to see a lot of my summer watch list movies kind of trickling in. So I watched Monte Carlo in my top 10 favorite films of all time, but it's also always on my summer watch list, and it's probably one of the first movies I watch every summer. So I watched Monte Carlo. I watched The Graduate for the first time, which I'm pretty sure gave my parents a heart attack, but I had never seen it. So I did watch The Graduate, and I thought it was kind of a nice time to watch it. Lots of graduations happening. I saw the movie Pavements in theaters with my family, and it's basically like a Mod Podge. I can't even really describe the genre, but it's about the band Pavement, and Joe Keery is in it, and Nat Wolff is in it. And yeah, it's a very just like fun concept, and I really enjoyed it. My review for it was, this was fascinating in the absolute best way. I was not very familiar with Pavement before seeing this and truly adored this whole project. Such a captivating way to tell a story. I watched The Kiss List, and then I saw The Materialist in theaters. My summer watch list was Aquamarine and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm very excited for the new one, and you will be seeing her on the 6-month movie update in December. With my little movie club friends, we finished up the Back to the Future franchise, so we watched part 3 on June 19th. June was a pretty sparse month for movies because I'm knee-deep in One Tree Hill. The Buccaneers season just dropped. I was super into The Bear, so I was just neglecting movies for a little bit, and I was really into TV, so June is kind of sparse, unfortunately. And then over the weekend I watched Mamma Mia and Mamma Mia Here We Go Again, I'm so sorry if you don't agree with my opinion, but I like Here We Go Again better. I'm so sorry. I just do. I adore that movie. And a couple days ago, I finished off my June by watching Clueless. They brought it back into theaters for the 30th anniversary, so it was great getting to see that movie in theaters. My review says, classic. Truly cannot be replicated. Fashion iconic. All the one-liners iconic. This cast is absolute perfection. I don't say many movies are perfectly cast, but Clueless is perfectly cast. I truly cannot see anyone else in these roles. And then the rest of my review says, thank goodness I grew up on this movie. What would life be without this one? So true. And I did give it 4.5 stars because minus half star for the brother love trope. I can't get behind it fully, so minus half star. Sorry, Clueless. No, but like truly, where is Alicia Silverstone's Oscar for that film? I could write essays. Okay, well that is my 6-month movie update. We're 120 films into the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for another edition of 6-month movie update in December.